Welcome back to Dude We Can Fix It. Today we're working on a 2002 Ford Taurus. It has a code P0430, which is a Bank 2 catalyst efficiency below threshold, which means that the computer thinks the catalytic converter is not reducing the emissions as much as it should. This could be a faulty upstream or downstream O2 sensor or a failed catalytic converter. So we'll look at those things, and also I'll show you a little tip to save some money. So, coming from the front of the engine, see this exhaust manifold here? This is bank 2. The exhaust manifold on the back is bank 1. Luckily for us, we're working on bank 2. It's a little easier to get to, easier to access. Look right through there. That down there is the O2 sensor. First thing we're going to do is spray it down with our some PB Blaster or some penetrating oil. There we go. We'll let that sit for a minute. Now that that has sat for a minute, we'll crawl under the vehicle and remove it. So now we're underneath the front of the vehicle, over here towards the passenger side tire. You see the exhaust, we'll trace that back to the front. And this is our O2 sensor. You see in there? It's in right here. He's got his own wiring harness. We're going to disconnect this wire harness, which is right there. This wiring harness here, you push down on this tab and it pulls out, kind of in a tricky spot to get to. At this point, you'll need your 22mm wrench and hope that your penetrating oil has done good work. There we go. There it is. So here's our O2 sensor, and that's the connector there. Push down on this tab, pull it out, and it's a 22mm socket. They make a special O2 sensor socket, but really for this one you can just use a wrench. And yeah, it's dark, it's got a little soot on it, but it seems to be in good shape. So one thing I like to do is shake them and listen for noise. This one's quiet. You can still see through these holes. There's not a lot of buildup or anything on here. It's hard to say whether it's faulty or not. I don't have a good test procedure for that, but there's nothing obviously wrong with this. So it's pretty likely that the catalytic converter is just not reducing the emissions enough. And the catalytic converter is rather expensive, so you don't feel like changing that out. There's one other option you have. All right, so here's one other option that you have. These are simply spark plug defowlers that you can get at AutoZone. You can get like a 2-pack of them for 10-12 bucks. And what you do is you take a drill bit and you bore it out a little bit. Or if you have a little time to wait, you can get online. I got these. I got a whole pack of them off of eBay. I think it was a 10-pack for like 30 bucks. And they are O2 sensor foolers, or O2 sensor spacers. I even got a couple 90-degree ones in case I had to get in some tighter spots. But very simple theory on this. So you just take this and screw it onto here. It's the same threads. Tighten that up real nice. And then you'll thread this into your exhaust. And all that this does is it takes the element right there and it pulls it out of the exhaust tube. So normally you have your exhaust and this is right in the middle of it. So you're getting a lot of exhaust gas flowing across here and it's picking up a lot of NOx emissions, and that's why you're having a catalyst failure code. So when you put this on, all it does is it takes this from in your exhaust out of your exhaust. So it's still getting a little bit of exhaust gas on it, maybe just a little bit sticking in like that. So it's still reading something, but it's getting a lot less exhaust gas directly on it, which is going to result in a much lower NOx emissions reading. So we shall give this a shot. All right, so now we have our spacer installed and I have this sensor nice and cleaned up. We will reinstall it. All right, now that we have the O2 sensor spacer and the O2 sensor installed back in the vehicle, we're going to need to delete the stored check engine codes. So if you don't have a code scanner, another way you can do that is by simply disconnecting the negative side of the battery. For this vehicle, you would just need an 8mm socket. Loosen this single bolt up, just a few turns to where you can wiggle and remove the terminal. Now we'll let that sit for 10 minutes. All right, it's been 10 minutes. Go ahead and put your terminal back on, tighten it back up. There you go. It'll be tight enough that you can grab this, wiggle it, and your terminal does not move. If your terminal does move, it needs to be tightened up some more. All right, now that we've cleared the codes, got the car ready to go, start it up and see how she does. All right, well, our check engine light is gone. No immediate pending codes. All right, so now we will have to just drive the vehicle for about 100 miles and let the computer go through all of its own diagnostics to see if the check engine light will stay off. And I'm pretty confident that it will. As always, dude, we can fix it. Thanks for watching.